Okay, for real mic test this time, not a turn off the stream test. Alright, how is the quality? As always, be brutal. Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm standing pretty decently, but she might fall over on us. Harper hasn't joined us in a long time, so I figured I'd have Harper join us.
Okay. Just so you know, no one can hear you when you do Magic Durga. The audio is not perfect at this point. There's still some weirdness, but I think it's some compression, distortion. If you hear it in the music, then that's a separate thing. If you're hearing it when like we get really loud and stuff, then that's just us being too loud and the settings not being set up to handle that. Hey, Pashoskins. One. I'm gonna turn off the mic because I want to hear the music. I don't know what we're on. Oh, this is that one. Calzone. Sorry, it wasn't that long. I was hoping. All right, the pod bay doors have closed, and we will see you shortly.
And now there's even more representation coming from Smart Doll. It's November 7th, and this is your Smart Doll News.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm glad it's Monday.
I'm glad it's Monday, too. I'm glad that we have a box sitting next to us.
You went this? I can't pick it up with one hand. Yeah, so we got something to open today. We're not going to do it on this stream, though, but we will be doing it almost immediately afterwards, so stay tuned for those details. We hope everyone is doing good this week. I'm excited for this show, but I got to tell you, it's going to be a little, like...
Keeping going.
Yeah, we're going to be flying through this. I mean, you know, like... Yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on our time, and we will probably be skipping the Q&A this week. But in exchange, you're gonna get a second stream. So let's dig right in.
Let's do that.
Thank you, Angel Kitty. She is our super smarty from last week.
Thank you, Angel Kitty. That was really sweet of you. She got us at the last second. We were like logging out, and she's like, here it is, and John has this new thing set up for the super chats, and we got to see it for like a split second.
Yeah, we got an well, it was more than we got to see it fully. Yeah, we got an automated new animation that comes up when somebody gives us a super chat or a super sticker. So thank you so much for those of you supporting us. We are excited to see the next one. It's just like, I don't know, it kind of amps up the whole thing for me now. And we also have sort of an update to, what some of your money has helped us be able to do. I am working on making our 3D printer usable right now with a new enclosure and a, you know what? Okay, so did we have, it must not be on this one. I am sorry, Lee. That is too bad. Apparently, I do not have the whatchamacallit set up on this one. I'll fix that.
But thank you for your super chat.
Yeah, Lee, let me click you there. There we go. Let's see it again. Sadly, the answer to that was no, Lee. Because I messed it up. I'm sorry. I wish I could manually trigger it for you. I can't. But I will look at the next stream. It's currently set up on the main camera. We have I'm off track. We've got our enclosure here, and we're setting up ventilation. I need to set it up so that the hose actually properly vents out the window here. This is like an egress in the house, and like
we have a well enclosure around the window, so for fire exit. So we have to get an enclosure a thing that fits into that window, which opens side to side.
So I ended up getting like a large size enclosure, which allowed me to actually put in the wash station as well, which is nice because one of the other things that lets off a lot of smell is the alcohol that you use to wash. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to getting this. I'm probably gonna have to order maybe something specially made or just put in some cardboard for the moment. We'll figure it out.
Our mini celebrity for the day is driving and listening to us. Hi, Barbie Witch.
Random like foreshadowing.
Yes.
I had this picture. I just thought the enclosure made a cool little photo studio while I was putting it together.
Yeah, that does look really cool.
We have a couple of things to talk about tonight. A couple of releases that happened. And a couple of notes from Danny to talk about.
Yep.
So let's get into the headlines. First up, Pebbles became available. And for the uninitiated, Sandy, what is a pebble?
Pebbles are when Danny decides to put up, it's basically a blind box smart doll.
Okay.
So he puts it up for a certain price, and what you get is what you get. And, it could be something really good. It could be something like unreleased. It could be something that there's not that many of left, or something like that. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be a doll that he sells all the time. You could end up with a Mirai.
You could end up with a doll you already own. This is where he says very much up front, very risky, and the actual proper name of the product is Only the Brave, because only the brave should buy it. And what's the deal with why is it called a pebble as the nickname?
You know what? I'm like, I guess because you could end up with a box with a pebble in it.
Right.
It's not necessarily a doll. It could be anything.
Right. He's really playing at the don't buy this if you don't like the risk of being horribly disappointed.
If you're not willing to pay $60,000 for a pebble, don't buy this box.
$60,000?
60,000 yen. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Danny. I would not buy a blind box for $60,000. Although, God, what would he put in a $60,000
We could take out another
box?
mortgage on the house.
Okay, so Pebbles are out. I know people have been unboxing them already. We've done one in the past. You can check out it's no longer labeled that because she's not a mystery anymore.
No, but there is a video of when we opened Cinnamon Future. I believe I was, if not the first, one of the first people to get her, which was super cool.
And here we have our Pebble, unboxed, or yet to be unboxed, I should say, unboxed, double negatives. And we are going to be unboxing this at 8 o'clock, if we can get our timing right with the news. So stay tuned. At the end of this stream, it will automatically forward you to the next stream, and we'll have to reconfigure a couple things in the studio and get ready, but we'll be moving along there. Put this back here. All right. We also have the cyborg bust.
Yep, we talked about this a little bit last week. I think this is super cool. I talked about the idea of modding it, like actually just painting it so that it stays translucent but has a color tint. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to figuring out like combinations. I know a lot of people have done this with the clear dolls in general, of like different combinations of things inside it, ways of covering the frame, different colored frames.
Yeah, I mean, like you could texture the inside of that with wires and like chipboards and things like that, and then you'd be able to see those through it, which is cool.
There should be actually one in that box. We've got a couple of things that launched that same night that the Pebbles dropped that will be in that box.
So we will take a look at that in the next stream.
Now, for the sad news, Blue is coming to an end. Now, we've been saying this for like 6 months plus.
But he actually gave a date.
Yeah.
He said that the blue ore will be depleted by the end of November this year. So end of this month.
Yep. Couple more
done.
weeks. Yeah. Now, we also have a note from Danny talking about more reasons not to buy. Now, this is kind of a big theme for Danny. He's always tries to be like hyper specific about what to expect out of the dolls. What are the things that vary and change, and and the things, and when somebody complains about something or has a problem with something, he will then often take that feedback and make sure that everyone is aware of the things that you might not realize or might not expect from a smart doll. In this case, it's about things changing. We've got a new frame coming out. I know a lot of people are waiting for it. The quote he gives here is, "I would not have bought a smart doll a year ago if I knew you were going to change /add meow," fill in the meow. And I feel like it is something that is, I mean, I get the feeling of like, I just got this, but I don't really understand how, like, it's not like an iPhone. It's not like the classic complaint. You were saying this earlier.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you buy anything technology, the second you buy it, it's obsolete. Like, the next thing coming, and you sell or trade in the old one and get a new one. Now, in this case, you can't trade in the old one. You have to sell the old one. But you can still do that. And it's not happening at the rate that technology does it.
Right. I mean, this is, and you get so much notice. He is really transparent about the things he's working on and experimenting with, to the point of a lot of people get mad because things that he teased never come out. But this, is like, just, if you're buying dolls like this in general, if you're buying, like, forget Smart Doll, like other BJDs, you gotta do your research.
Other dolls.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, like, Barbie. How many times has Barbie been tweaked in her 60 plus years?
Yep.
I mean, she has gone from being like a completely stiff body to having, bendable joints to having soft body. Like, she's been everything.
Now, let's say, for instance, that, with the frame, and what Danny's kind of talking about here is about the stiffness of the frame and how it's changing. They've actually been loosening up some of the joints, making it easier for people who have, difficulty with, like, hand strength or,
whether it's somebody who has some sort of illness that makes it difficult, or children.
Sure. Making it generally easier to move. I could get, like, if you're a photographer maybe, and, like, you've got these bodies work the way, you've got a certain way that you work with them, and you like that certain tightness. Like, you get used to, like, that. Like, I can get exactly what I need for a pose out of this particular level of tension in the joints. But, I mean, I do photography, and I don't feel like... Just... start changing heads.
Right.
Like, swap out heads between dolls and have your body that is the photography body.
Yeah, like, we decided that's what we're probably going to do. We're gonna get the new body, and if a photo calls for having the new body because you want to do a particular pose, you're just gonna swap a head temporarily.
Yeah.
And then they'll go back to their own body.
He also does mention, like, some of the things that they've improved over the years, which I have not even noticed and are amazing. Like, the detail required and the skill required. This is a picture of the difference between the cutting in the flash around the hands between 2014 and 2022. And look how just hard-edged cut that is on the left, and how utterly tailored it is on the right.
Yeah, it fits, really perfectly to that joint. So there has been a big change in just that in 7 years.
Similarly, I mean, this is dramatic.
The ankle joints.
The ankle joints, like, this just hugs this. Like, it is looks so good. And here he also mentioned the effort that they put in on the joints themselves to make them the same finish as the vinyl, so that they are a matte finish, not overly shiny on the joints, so that they are consistent.
And he does tell us how to do that. You can do that with a little bit of a melamine sponge, right? Isn't that what he said?
I believe so. I mean, that's a melamine sponge is generally what you can use to get shininess out of the doll in general. I used especially on the Coco dolls. They come with one, right?
Yep. Melamine sponge in a circular motion and wipe with a damp tissue and repeat until the surface is a closer match to the vinyl.
Yep. Okay, next up. The mastectomy bus is finally coming.
Yeah, and that was what I alluded to because Danny actually credits his conversation with the Barbie Witch for this happening. So thank you, the Barbie Witch.
Yeah, like, really, really happy to see community members working with Danny to give him feedback. And Danny talks specifically in his article here that he was previously working on one, and they were getting a lot of feedback, basically telling them that you're just taking advantage of cancer survivors. It's just another, another thing in the long line of woke decisions that he's making. And Danny is very, very clearly on that path of, representation in the dolls. But he actually abandoned it because it's cancer, he didn't want to make a misstep there. And with the feedback of the community, with the help of the Barbie Witch, he determined that they would actually make a unilateral mastectomy, which would mean one breast, right?
Yep.
Versus bilateral. He makes a point here to say that they do not, unfortunately, have the resources to represent everyone.
Because they can't do both. They're not going to do both unilateral and bilateral. They're not going to do left and right, because if they do it for all the major skin tones, how many does that?
He says
I can't. 9 products.
Right, because it would be 3. Yeah, yep. 3 times 3. So it's I think this is, I think Danny's bet, if you will, it will pay off for this. Like, I think that this gesture hopefully will help people feel represented and maybe even help heal a little. But however they might use this in their process.
And a little thought for Danny, because I know he's been experimenting with it, but also for customizers. When I was working in a retail store, not too long ago, a long time ago, I had a woman come in, she was a scientist, very, very professional woman. And she needed help picking out a wardrobe, and she had had a double mastectomy. And she was all set up to get a tattoo of a butterfly on her scars.
Oh, wow.
So I know this is done, but I just wanted to put out the idea of mastectomy tattoos for people, because since she was she's like, I don't have breasts anymore, so I'm going to be able to honor this and give myself something. I have a new canvas to work with.
Yeah.
And she was getting a butterfly tattooed across her chest. So I just wanted to mention that briefly for Danny's team and for all the customizers out there, that might be something to think about. Like, how could you customize the mastectomy bust?
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And I do want to mention, because she did mention in chat, and of course it's in the article, Mara is her name, the Barbie Witch. So thank you, Mara. This is just fantastic. And of course, I must mention that, as with all of these types of products that Danny is doing, he is giving them for free to people. All you have to do is tell your story, mention your story in the notes, put it in your cart, in the notes for the order, tell them, you're a survivor, and they will take care of the rest. And you, there's the only limit at this point in time is that there's 1 per household. But that is just really, really cool.
Yeah. And I'd say, he does give them away for free to people who need them. So that's one of the reasons I say he's not taking advantage of this.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it does give him ideas for dolls to make, but what better ideas could there be than to make sure that people are properly represented?
Absolutely. And I gotta say, Danny, this spot where you took these pictures with, it's probably the time of day too, the lighting,
beautiful.
So good.
I love these photos. These are some of the best photos you have done, I think. This just is gorgeous.
Yeah. It's just really, really beautiful. All right. Last up, Danny did put out shoe patterns we talked about last week, and those shoe patterns. A bunch of people have started working on them. Numerous people in our Discord are already posting their results, trading tips and things. And from what Danny was keeping his eye on in the community, he felt like he needed to give a little bit more help. Mm-hmm. Danny mentions in this article that he feels like the best way to learn is to just do it and try it and learn by failing and repetition and Googling things and just doing it. So the first thing is, if you want to try this out, start Googling like shoemaking. And I've already started looking into it, and it's really helped kind of understand at least what people have been talking about, what things to be concerned with. But he did put out this video. And it kind of shows a little bit, like just a little bit of kind of the steps that they do. And it's funny because you can see here how it's like they're doing this in like a shoemaking factory. Mm-hmm. And then here we have this. Now Danny says that the key here largely is this spot right here, which is essentially getting it over the last, is about, and I think it really involves this tool of being able to pull and twist the leather as it comes over the bottom of the last. No, I am clicking on the wrong screen.
I see.
So really cool. Danny is like, I really like what Danny's doing with these patterns, and being, just really supportive of DIYers, not like here, just do it, but like of people learning the craft. Mm-hmm. And I think from what we've seen in our Discord, like Barb from Enchantarium, Beth Ramsden, Small Seams, like people are getting into this and like they're not doing it exactly. They're cutting corners. They're figuring out what works for them.
Right, and based on the materials that they can get, like you got to find out what works and what for you and what doesn't.
I haven't seen anyone do it like fully lined, but the product that everyone's been doing is really quite amazing. Mm-hmm. So congrats everyone who's been diving in, and if you haven't yet, it may feel a little bit daunting, but check out the Discord. There's plenty of options there for you to for people that you can learn from.
We ordered also in the box that we're going to be opening in the next stream is some bases for the shoes that were already made because we are still working on our 3D printing room. So.
Right. So if you have been enjoying the news so far and you find it informative and educational and hopefully entertaining, why don't you give that video a like? It is one of the best ways that you can help us spread this video to more people and help grow the channel. So we've talked about a fair amount of headlines. Mm-hmm. We are on a time crunch this evening, so all right. We're at 24 more minutes in. Let's dig right into some behind the scenes. All right.
This is actually one of the more exciting pieces of news.
Yeah, and there's some stuff in the behind the scenes that is like pretty exciting. We actually have been missed this for a couple of weeks now. He's been speckling this in, but apparently Danny has been listening to Queen because fat bottom girls are in. He's been working on the peach bottom torso, which we see here in the model phase.
So in this shot, I mean, you can tell if you really know your smart doll, you can see the difference. But we do actually have a shot of them side by side, and you'll be able to see exactly why it's the peach bottom girl.
Yeah, I mean, you can start to see it there, but here is the final. And now on the left, we have the peach bottom torso, and on the right, we have the current default torso. Mm-hmm. I mean, talk about the butt cleavage.
Yeah.
Like, it looks much more realistic. Much less dull, because you don't get the, like, here's this, like, very clear, like, seam that people don't have that much of.
Yeah, but the right side is more of a heart shape, and then you got the peach bottom on the left. I mean, people have been asking, can we get different shapes? And I think in the past, when we've discussed it, we said, well, maybe we could change the shape of the butt or whatever a little bit. But, he's not going to change too much because the clothes won't fit.
Right. But I'm interested to see how the clothes fitting manages with this. Like, I think it's got to... my guess is it may have had to get a little bit thinner and wider or something, so that, like, circumference-wise, the actual hip measurement stays roughly the same.
Tracy, I can't read it, Carico? Says, I really like the outfit on your table guest there. Yeah, we will talk about this briefly before we...
Very briefly.
Yes, before we cut out. So we're going to move along here.
So I'm sure we'll be coming back to this, but I will point out here, you can already tell the slope here has really elongated, I guess. Like, the angle of the back where that button is has come out more, because that hole has had to be cut at what looks to be a different angle than the other one. It could just be the way he's holding it, but I think it's a little bit more extreme. All right. Okay. This is from September. This is not old. I don't even remember if we really did anything with this in September or not.
No.
But Danny posts random stuff like this all the time. And pictures of, like, anime, like, a movie or, different candy and stuff like that. This, I believe, is in line for a licensed doll. Mm-hmm. And the reason I believe this is when we asked Danny in our, if you haven't watched it, you should go watch it, our 39 questions for Danny video. We asked him about licensing and, basically, like, how they choose stuff and what's coming up. And He wouldn't tell us anything, of course. But
he does always drop pictures of things that he's interested in. He did say, we do the things that we like, that we are interested in. So... And it just so happens that Spy Family is under the same umbrella as Naruto, and as Demon Slayer,
which we've seen similar kind of hints at. Mm-hmm. So I do believe that we know Danny already has a relationship with this company, with Viz Media. Mm-hmm. And I believe that he's on his way. Now, how do we think that lines up at all with the brand new Vokes doll coming out of the mom there?
Yeah, I don't know. It could mean that, I mean, we know Danny takes... he takes his time with these. I mean, so if he's doing this, she might not come out for quite a while yet.
Yeah.
Whereas the doll from Volks, we've seen pictures of already. It's done, right?
Yeah. I mean, he may not be able to do this at all, and this may just be us going whatever, but this gives me hope that A, he already has a relationship, and B, he's taking pictures of this stuff. Mm-hmm. The thing that doesn't give me hope is... there's no smart doll size for Anya. Mm-hmm. And that's really, really who you want.
Yeah, I mean, out of the three of them, you want the little girl.
I mean, all of them would be amazing, but,
I mean, you could get her Nendoroid, but then that's still that's too small at that point, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, this may be entirely wishful thinking, but if Vokes hadn't done this, I would be like, yes, this is totally happening. With Vokes in the picture, I'm not sure what the politics there are, and whether or not they would allow multiple dolls, or
They're like Danny's version of Barbie and Ken.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. No, totally. So, I mean, maybe he would just do the guy as one of his new guys. Either way, I don't think we're gonna see this for like years.
Right.
So hopefully it'll still be going strong. And by the time Danny's able to pull it through, but very cool. What do you guys think? Do you think we might see this in the future? Let us know in the comments. Okay.
Packaging cards.
Yeah. New packaging cards.
Yeah, so I think this is part of, Danny has basically said that, he's leaning in the direction of his dolls, his frontline girls being the dolls with differences, focusing on representation.
Yep.
So I think he decided that it looks like he needed packaging cards that represent that. So I don't think he's going to let go of Mirai, that's for sure. But using Liberty to represent the other types of dolls is pretty cool. So and it's also a semi-real and an anime doll, which is cool.
Yeah, I guess it's interesting to are these both going out? Are they random? It'll be interesting to see what we get. We haven't gotten a doll in a little while, so we'll have to see. Okay. This girl.
Super cute.
Very cute.
You know who this is? This is Mochi.
This is Mochi?
Yeah. Remember we talked about Moment and
Moment
Chitose and what their nickname would be.
Yep. This very much does sort of look like a cross because she's got that open mouth. What are we thinking for sculpt here?
At first, when you look at it, you automatically go, this must be Chi Multiverse, right?
Right, because the mouth.
Right, but I really believe that this is F6. I think this is Moment Kanata.
Is Moment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moment Kanata. Kizuna. Athena. All those girls.
Yeah, because she does have that sort of you can see here the straight line across. It's not actually colored in at the sides here. So you can just see the shadow of it. So that's that typical sort of flat, like Kanata is drawn with lips and that fully so she's really kind of flat lipped, kind of a little bit of a grimace. Whereas this is drawn in a way to give her a little bit of a chi mouth. Yeah,
they're all saying Momochi in the chat. It's Mochi. What Mochi is just. Mochi's at least got to be her code name.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, that's her code name.
Yeah, I'm with you. Mochi is so much better. And we do have this picture of whoever this girl is on a Nendoroid or something. What is happening, Danny? I'm living for this though. Oh man. You can get a little bit different view of the lips here from a slightly higher angle. But yeah, it looks like her teeth. It is her lower teeth that are visible.
It almost looks like she's going like this.
Yeah, a couple people in the chat were saying
underbite?
That they got a little bit of an
underbite.
But
I think she could. To me, it looks like she could be biting her lip.
Could be. All right. Once again, we get the kind of smallish human size biotech boots, and just so you're not thinking, we have proof that these are definitely not Smart Doll plus size. But what is happening here? He has gone Terminator 2 on this blue bust. I don't know what he's experimenting. I think it's actually tinfoil. Would be my guess.
It looks like an armor piece or something. The way it's feathering out onto the other bust is really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's anything to do with electroplating, but I really like what it's doing there. Yeah, that's very cool. Here is pieces, the vinyl shell, or some of the vinyl shell of a Smart Doll Plus.
So basically, a Smart Doll Plus foot is like a long, skinny baby foot. I mean, if you see it in his hand there, and think about what it's like to have a baby foot in your hand, that's basically a baby foot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit bigger than that, and it's more like a shrunken adult foot.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking about the general size of it is like. If you can picture a longer, skinnier baby foot, that's basically it.
The other thing I find interesting here is, and it's something that you don't necessarily always see unless you really pay attention to some like pictures that people put up of the Smart Doll Plus. But the ball joints aren't really ball joints per se. There's just balls with joints inside them.
Yes.
And I think I want to say it uses mostly the armature, like
those white things.
I think it can be different colors, but yeah, the what is the spine?
Yeah.
For a Smart Doll. But yeah, very interesting. Okay, we saw this. We already talked about it. Let's move on. The Adventure Sports Bra is moving along. We've seen this a number of times. And we've actually got I would love to know what this document is. We see it all the time, but sort of a schematic.
No, they're basically assembly instructions. I mean,
is that what it is?
Yeah, sometimes, well, not assembly, but like they're pattern flats, and they have some other details on them. Sometimes in some of the patterns that you can get from him, that page is actually there.
Gotcha.
It gives you, it's like an overview.
From the chat, Christina says the Plus girls can use a size 6 toddler shoe for size reference.
Okay.
And here we have the Adventure sports bras getting ready for packaging. So definitely getting closer to this getting released. I would guess in probably the next few weeks, perhaps. All right. We probably don't have too much time to get into this, but Danny every now and then puts up this picture. This is actually the picture, or a similar picture to what we use on the archive that we just put up, which if you haven't checked it out, go to archive.myladydisdain.com and you can check out the growing database that we've got of all of the dolls, the sculpts, who's uses what sculpt, etc. And which has been primarily, like, you know, I've been assisting in like structure and making sure that it's accessible, but I just got to give props to Baggins Lover for just diving into the data entry.
It looks really good, and like we were doing some research earlier, and you were just like bopping around, and it works beautifully.
What I'm going to say about this picture is my bet is that you have I think this is a sign that we're getting closer to Cinnamon and Tea dolls, like full dolls, like coming back. This is sort of where he's at with with all the heads. This is basically head storage. Yeah, so we shall see. And last, I believe this is the last image here. We've got a sculpt here with a face up and the associated paint masks. Who is this, Sandy?
I believe this is C2.
I'm pretty sure it is as well. And so, again, we're looking at, I think it was the Q2, quarter two in 2023 for C2 to come out. So if you're a Code Geass fan, you've probably been waiting a long time for this. So let's see. Am I a liar? No, that's it. So that was the end of our behind the scenes photos. We're going to keep doing this every week. But now, of course, we couldn't have a Smart Doll News without the Smarty Party.
Gotta have the Smarty Party.
That's not the Smarty Party. That is.
We came to party all night long. Let's sing along to every song. We don't need nobody's attention. Don't need nobody else in our zone.
Everyone's loving that mohair wig.
Yeah, that mohair. I said that. I love that wig. That and the camping shot.
Oh yeah, very moody, very like Uru camp.
Yes,
so
love
good.
it.
So we are not going to do Q&A, but we are going to be back very shortly at the top of the hour.
I want to pull Harper away, so I want to tell everybody what she's wearing for.
Oh, you got like 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. You got it. Okay, this is a very Sandy outfit, and I'm very proud of it, and I love it. This is Harper. She is the classic Entropy sculpt, who is no longer available. This is one of the newer skirts from Volks. I really love this skirt. It's very lightweight. It has a really nice flow to it. She can wear it this way like it's supposed to be, but you could also put a petticoat under it and fill it out. The jacket is also from Volks. I love this. It's hard to see, but it's got little bows for pockets, which is totally awesome. And this shaped collar. And it's like, it feels like a light suede leather. It's really cute. And then underneath it, she is wearing the lace cropped turtleneck from Elite Doll World. And her amazing cameo necklace. Shout out to Diana the Doll Fairy. She gave me this last Christmas. And I love it, and my dolls wear it all the time. And then she's wearing the Chaos boots based off of the Supergirl boots, the tall, like basically tall Takashen boots, in like the olive drab brown. So I hadn't had Harper out in a while, so I thought I'd bring her out to show you guys. But some of these pieces, at least, are still available on Volks, I think.
Yeah, they're a nice. I mean, they're not always. We don't always buy from there, but they every now and then, like a couple times a year, they come out with something that we really like. So, are you ready for a Pebble? We are going to open this up. We are going to be right back. So stay tuned.
New stream starting.
At the end of this stream, it will redirect you to the new one. We will be back at the top of the hour. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you for all your support. And have a great week.